Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining another week. Hard to believe that spring is here, but we have a great show planned for you later on. We'll be talking professional football in the city of Wheeling for the first time in a long time. We'll be talking the West Virginia Rough Riders and have a guest here to talk about that. But first, some of our usual features. I'm going to start off with talking a little legal tip, and that is don't sign or renew oil and gas leases without having a lawyer look at it that understands those things. 2019 is here, and a lot of the leases that folks signed back in 2014 are up for renewal, and they just think, well, okay, I'll just sign again and renew. You really want to have a lawyer take a look at that. And anytime you sign a legal document, it's a good idea to have a lawyer take it and make sure you have someone look at it that knows what they're doing with oil and gas leases. Very important, because some of the things in there and some of the language makes a difference with regard to what you receive. That could make a difference with respect to what costs are deducted, what the renewal terms are again in the future, and a whole host of other things. A lot of people think, well, a contract's a contract and I signed this once before. Well, maybe you didn't sign a very good contract before, and now's an opportunity to revisit that and get a better contract this time. Maybe it's not. Maybe you don't have a right to alter the language, but if you don't talk to a lawyer, you won't know, and you want to make sure that you're fully protected. These rights can be worth a lot of money to folks, especially if you have any type of significant acreage. And that's one thing you may not realize either, is how much acreage you have. You may think that you only have this amount because someone's told you that, oh, hey, this was split between a bunch of people and you only have this. Well, it may turn out that that's not the case, that maybe you own half of it or the whole thing. So important to have those things looked at. My firm looks at those. There's other people that do as well. We've even started a whole separate company called Bordas Mineral Management that looks at these types of issues and others, including whether or not people are being paid appropriately under the leases that they already have. And that's something we've seen quite frequently, is that people sometimes aren't paid what they're supposed to be paid by the energy companies. They may say, oh, here's your check, and you may think, well, gosh, here's a check for $500 that I was never getting before, happy to get it. Well, maybe you were entitled to $2,000. And that's 4 times more than what they're sending you. You want to make sure that you're getting the right amount, because it's always nice to get money that you didn't have before. But if you're entitled to more, certainly you want to get that as well. Don't have them not paying you the appropriate amounts and not even know about it. So important to know what your rights are. I want to give a shout out to some folks. The Woodsdale Elementary 5th grade did a really good thing, I think, in the last week or so. The Youth Service System's winter freeze shelter is closing, and because of that, closing for the season, not permanently, but closing for the season. And because of that, a number of people that receive shelter there are without shelter. And just because, winter per se is over doesn't mean that it's not still cold out at night. It can get very, very chilly in the evenings. And these 5th graders went out and raised money to be able to purchase tents to protect folks that don't have a home, not only from the cold and to help with that to a degree, but also the wind, of course, and the rain and the other elements. So, went out and got 15 tents, and then one of their teachers contacted my wife and said, hey, would your firm be willing to match this and provide money for 15 more? And we said, sure, that's a great thing that these students are doing. So they're actually able to get 30 tents. So really good job by these students. And now that's one of the reasons that we contributed, was that you see kids out trying to make a difference like this and recognizing that there are people out there a lot less fortunate than they may be, and they're trying to do something about that. Certainly want to try to help in any way you can, but really big shout out to those 5th graders at Woodsdale Elementary that took the time, initiative, and the wherewithal to be able to do that, because it is for a very good cause. So congratulations for doing that. Give you a quote here this week, and it's one of my favorite times of year, March Madness, and this comes from Dick Vitale, maybe the character, so to speak, or a person that's most associated with March Madness. And he said, March Madness is an incredible 3 weeks. I firmly believe it's the greatest 3 weeks in sports. You have the Super Bowl, you have the World Series. It really is an unbelievable time. I've always been more of a football guy than basketball or baseball or any other sport, but I enjoy them all. But March Madness, to me, what makes it so great is the one and done format, and how you move on, you move on, you move on. It's not unlike the playoffs in a lot of sports, but just the sheer number of teams involved and the excitement when you get all these different teams involved. You get 68 teams in it. It used to be, it was 32, then 64 now. expand it even more. When you get these teams involved and you get the college campuses excited and people, doing the brackets, and that's part of what makes it great as well. The Super Bowl boards that you have, people do it in their offices and things, and it's one day you have the Super Bowl board for a few hours and you look and see what your numbers are after each quarter and it's done. But this is something that goes on week after week where people are following their teams and compete with people in the office, and it's something to, bring about a little bit of spirit within the office and competition and having a little bit of fun. I think that's part of what makes it, the greatest 3 weeks in sports, as Dick Vitale alluded to. So I'm really excited for it. Later on the show, I'll be giving you a little bit of my picks for what they're worth, but I'll at least give you my breakdown on both the men's side and the women's side. Women's basketball becoming much, much more popular here in the United States, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. We need to take a break. When we come back, I'll be talking professional football here in the city of Wheeling, West Virginia Rough Riders. Stay with us here on the Jaime Bordas Show.
When reviewing your oil and gas offers or royalty check statements, do you wonder, am I being offered a fair amount? Do I feel comfortable reading the statement? Do I have peace of mind? If you answered no to these questions, you need Bordas Mineral Management. Our passion is helping mineral owners protect and expand their mineral wealth. Our examiners tell you whether you're being treated fairly and getting paid what is rightfully yours. Bordas Mineral Management. Be protected. Have peace of mind.
Recommended by the highest authorities. Danoon Lumber.
Looks like a bad one's coming. Yeah. Right?
Welcome back to the show. My favorite time each week is when I have a guest with me, and this week's no different. I have with me for the return of professional football here in Wheeling with the West Virginia Rough Riders, head coach Moog Zimmerman and running back Noel Devine. Guys, thanks for being here on the show.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having us.
Coach, you've been with this team really since its inception a few years ago. People may not realize West Virginia Rough Riders are a team that came to Wheeling from the Richmond area, I guess, and had a lot of success there, and now you're here. So tell folks a little bit what they can expect to see with arena football, because it has been a long time since we've had it here in Wheeling. People may not remember what it's all about.
Well, one thing that we bring from Richmond is we bring tradition, and we bring that winning atmosphere and culture. But arena football in itself is it's played in arena, so it's a 50-yard field. I mean, a little smaller in dense, but it's high scoring, it's fast paced, it's very, very family oriented. So it's a great thing to do on a Saturday afternoon. You bring the kids, and something to do. It's very fun. It's very crowd involved. We shake hands, we throw things. I mean, there's a whole lot of pyrotechnics going on. So it's just a great atmosphere to bring the family.
Opening game this Saturday night, West Banco Arena, 7 o'clock kickoff. So I know people are really getting excited about it. What can we expect to see from your team this year, you think?
Again, we just like to win and excitement. We have some explosive guys. This guy to my right, Noel Devine, we all know what he can do. I'm excited to watch him. I'm going to try to coach more than watch, but that might be hard. We have great talent in the quarterback position and all over the field. So we're very, very excited to see all these explosive athletes from all over the world come in and just put on the show for the community.
Well, let's talk about this guy on your right here. Noel, people remember you, I'm sure, from WVU, kind of burst onto the scene as a freshman, and people may remember that big 65-yard touchdown run you had against Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl, Coach Stewart being carried off after the game and all the excitement with that, but then, you had a number of years here where, people may not have had a chance to watch you as much, and now here you are back in West Virginia with a chance to show what you can do on the field.
Oh yes, I'm very excited to be back here in the great state of West Virginia in front of the fans that I played in front of before. I remember my first game at Mile and Pushcart Stadium. The fans gave me a standing ovation, so how could I not come back to that? And I'm looking forward to the return to the field. I'm very excited to have my teammates with me, Robert Sands from West Virginia, Jared Brown, quarterback from West Virginia, Ellis Langster, Larry Ford. So it's very welcoming to be here with those guys. It's like a family reunion. I'm looking forward to taking the field with those guys, and also a veteran that we have on the team, Larry Beavers. Look out for that guy. He's very explosive as well. He's a veteran, a part of the group, and I've been learning a lot from him. So I'm great to be here with a great guy, a great coach, Coach Mook. I'm great to be here with Greg, the president. So it's a great organization to be a part of, a winning organization. It's a tradition that I'm used to at West Virginia. So we're looking forward to bringing that same tradition here in Willing.
You know, looking at a guy like yourself, you know, had a really successful college career, weren't able to catch on in the NFL. You know, it takes a lot of luck, and you're not the tallest guy in the world. That doesn't help either, always, of course. But you know, having an opportunity to play professional football like this, you know, and you know, you're not a spring chicken anymore. You're getting a little older. I mean, you know, how old are you now? I forget. You're just losing track
actually,
of time.
I'm 30 now. So.
Yeah, so 30 years old. You know, which isn't young for a running back, you know, at any level. And, you know, what's it like going out there now compared to maybe when you were 18, 20 years old?
Well, now I'm a professional. I know who I am, and I know whose I am. And I believe in my ability. I believe in what the Lord has given me. My journey has been a roller coaster, up and down. I did have the opportunity to play professional for the Eagles. Mentally, I wasn't there, but now mentally, I'm locked into the game. Like I said before, I'm really happy to be back. I'm much maturer than I was before, and I know how to conduct myself as a professional. So.
Now, you know, one of the things you were known for, of course, was that explosiveness that Coach already alluded to. You know, I think clocked at a 4.240 at some point in time. I mean, you know, that's world-class speed.
Yeah,
I mean, we still be able to see that same type of speed from you? Or I mean, I'm sure it's not a 4.2 anymore, but it's still pretty fast, though, I bet.
That's something that's God-given. I believe once you have it, it never goes away. As long as you fine-tune it and tweak it, and you'll always still have it. I'm excited to share my gift and talent here at West Banco Arena in Willing. And I believe I do still have the gift. I'm always active with my kids. All 5 of them play sports, except for my youngest. He's only 3, but all 4 of them are active in sports, from softball, track, baseball, football. I ran in track meets with my daughter, open event, 60 meters, 200 meters indoor. Yes, I still have it. We'll see.
Coach, you know, I know you're typically more on the defensive side of the ball, defensive coordinator in addition to being the head coach, but let's just talk about the offensive side of the ball for a moment, since we got Noel sitting here. Okay. What can we expect? You know, more passing, more running. I don't want to give away the whole game plan as a coach, but what can we expect to see?
Well, it's definitely a passing game, you know, so you're going to see a whole lot of passing. But again, we're going to get a guy like Noel and some other guys we have, some quick pitches, some things where you can get into the open field and make the crowd excited. He gave you a very, very modest answer. Oh man, I seen him. He's still all in practice. So it's going to be a great show to watch. You know, West Virginia Rough Riders is going to be a great thing to see this year. We have talent across the board.
Yes,
is there a team that you could kind of point to as being, hey, I think this will be the rival, maybe based upon what happened in Richmond or based upon geography or anything that you think, well, hey, this will probably end up being our rival, anything like that, or is it hard to tell this early in the stage?
Based on Richmond, our rivals are the Carolina Havoc. They're not on our schedule. We'll have to see them in the playoffs. They beat us in the championship last year. We was up 19 and kind of let us slip away. So we still have that. We still have that chip on our shoulders, and we believe we have the right guys this year, the right nucleus tonight, the right attitude, you know, and just the right work ethic to be able to get over that hump this year. So we're excited.
We need to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue talking with Coach Zimmerman and Noel Devine about what to expect from the West Virginia Rough Riders this year. Stay with us here on the Jaime Bordas Show.
You earned it. Let us help you save it. Belmont Savings Bank. Focused on your future.
Hi, I'm Mitch Vingle with Wheelhouse Creative, but you may remember me from my days covering the Mountaineers. Every Thursday evening at 7 o'clock, I'll be hosting Off the Record, a series of sports shows featuring the very best personalities. And don't forget, Thursday is Burger Night at Generations. Check out their delicious hamburgers and their famous pierogies. And remember, it's all off the record.
Welcome back to the show. I've been talking with West Virginia Rough Riders head coach Mook Zimmerman and running back Noel Devine. And guys, we were talking. This organization's had some success even before coming here to Wheeling. Coach, you were the league coach of the year a couple of years ago, and kind of maybe have a target on your backs a little bit from the other teams in the league and want to kind of come out and see what they can do to beat West Virginia now.
Yeah, we call ourselves the LeBron of the AAL because we always get every team's best effort. Sometimes we'll be watching film and one team look one way, and then when they get here or when they play us, it's just a different kind of mindset they have, to try to knock down the giant, to knock down the champion. So, yes, we definitely have a huge target on our backs, but we always call ourselves the hunter, not the hunted.
There you go. Noel, what goes into getting ready for a game at this level? It's, of course, playing in college, you're going to class all day, you're doing those types of things, you're, film study. It's almost like a full-time job, basically, when you're in college. But what goes into it here at the arena level in terms of getting ready for a game?
Well, it takes a lot of preparation mentally. You got to mentally prepare yourself. Make sure you prepare for the game. You know all your information that you need to know. You know the playbook, what plays are going to be ran, and what situation they're going to be ran. And physically, you got to know that you're ready. You got to make sure your body's ready to perform at a high level, and that's pretty much it.
You've played some arena ball before this, right? Or is this the first shot at it?
This is my first year.
How's that make you? How's that make you feel? I mean, you've been in practice. But I mean, it's kind of a different game than what you've been used to. I mean, what are your thoughts heading into this?
I mean, I have a lot of mixed emotions right now. Like I said, I haven't played. I'm excited, nervous, and most of all, I'm confident in my ability. At the end of the day, it's still football. So I'm just excited to go out and play football, go out and fly around, go out and smack somebody. I'm just excited and I'm screaming.
How long since you stepped onto a football field in a game now? How long's it been?
It's been 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, but, so a little time now.
Last opportunity I had was in the spring league, and that was in West Virginia at the Greenbrier over like 2 years. It's been 2 years now.
What are your expectations in terms of for the season? What are you looking to accomplish, so to speak?
To win, to go out and give my best, and to motivate my team to do the same thing and just be on the same page as a team. And that's just to win each game one at a time.
Do you or any of your teammates, just in talking amongst each other, any thoughts there? Hey, maybe things go well enough, I get a crack at the NFL, coming up. Any thoughts for guys like that where you talk about those types of things?
Of course, we always going to have that. That's a lot of our ultimate goal. A lot of us guys had opportunities but didn't capitalize on the opportunity. And right now we have this opportunity, and we just trying to capitalize on the opportunity that we have now. If that leads to other opportunities, then great. But right now we're here at West Banco Arena, March 23rd, Saturday night. So come check us out.
Coach, being around these guys, you got people around this area and in this state have seen what guys like Noel can do when they were playing. But, from your position as head coach, what do you see in terms of the talent level and what type of football people are going to see if they come out and watch the team?
They're going to get NFL caliber football because more than half my roster have touched the NFL before. Now, might have not stuck, but touched the NFL, touched the CFL. So we have that caliber of talent. And if not, everyone probably played D1 football at a high level. Guys, University of Alabama, Penn State, all over the place. So we have great talent, great character guys. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen too. You in practice, and like you said, practice is one thing, game is another. And I just feel as though these guys are excited. They're willing to win. Most importantly, they're ready to win. And I'm very excited because we preach, we have a winning culture. Winning is the only thing that matters.
Well, there you go.
You were the Rough Riders.
I get a feeling that the folks around here are going to see some winning from your bunch. I kind of get the feeling that it might be expected of them and demanded by you. So I think they're going to see it. Well, listen, I really appreciate you guys coming on the show. Really wish you the best of luck this year, and hope that all goes well. And well, great to see you back here in West Virginia. I know people are going to be excited to see you around here.
Thank you.
Thank you for
We need to take a break. When we come back, I'll be talking a little bit more sports, including March Madness. Stay with us here on the Jaime Bordas Show.
Sometimes bad things happen to good people. At Bordas & Bordas, when we see this, we do something about it. We can't prevent bad things from happening, but we can get justice when they do.
Bordas & Bordas, fighting for justice.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Welcome back to the show. It's time to talk sports, and we'll start with March Madness because it is here. And, you know, as I said earlier on the show, one of my favorite times of year because you lose, you're out, all the excitement around the country and college campuses and the office pools and everything else with people picking their brackets. And I'll give you mine for what it's worth. I'm going to go with, first of all, I'll give you my Final Four in the men's side. Duke, Gonzaga, Tennessee, and North Carolina. So I'm going to go with couple one seeds there and, you know, throw in a 2 with Tennessee. And I'm going to go with an ACC final. I'm going to say Duke over Carolina. Big rivalry in the championship game, and Duke wins it all. Zion Williamson and crew just too good. You know, when he's been healthy and been able to play, they've been almost unstoppable. And, you know, he's being compared to LeBron James, and for good reason. I mean, the speed, the power, the ability, but an opportunity to do something that LeBron didn't do because he didn't play in college, which is win an NCAA national championship. This will almost certainly, I think, without question, be his only year in college, and I think that he'll get the championship and be cutting down the nets this year in his only year. Let's talk about the women's side. You know, women's basketball getting ever more popular. You know, just looking here in the local area and seeing all of the girls play. My daughter plays, you know, AAU basketball, and watching all the girls just out on the AAU circuit and other teams playing and travel teams and school teams. A lot of excitement, I think, about women's basketball in this country. And last year's Final Four was, you know, really exciting with Notre Dame hitting 2 buzzer-beating shots. You know, both the semifinal and the championship game. And they have just about everybody back, all but one starter back from that team, and then some. You know, picked up some players as well through freshmen and girls that were hurt last year. I'm going to take for this year's women's Final Four Notre Dame, Connecticut, who for the first time in over a decade is not a number 1 seed. They're the number 2 seed. Louisville got the number 1 seed in that region. Baylor and Oregon to get to the Final Four. I'll say Notre Dame over Baylor in the championship game. Notre Dame repeats to win back-to-back national championships for the first time. Muffet McGraw cementing her place already as one of the greatest coaches in women's basketball history. But I think the Irish get it done again this year. Talk a little bit about golf. Rory McIlroy winning last week at the Players' Championship, and I think it's so much fun to see guys like Rory McIlroy playing at a high level, you know, as we head toward April and the Masters, which will take place, you know, the second weekend of April. And, you know, Tiger Woods playing at a pretty high level, not his best stuff maybe last week, but really, if not for the quadruple bogey that he had when he hit into the water twice at the Island Green on 17 early in the week, you know, maybe he's in the hunt as well last week. But, you know, you start to shape up and look at that April where you can see guys like Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods making a run and shaping up for a really special weekend at the Masters. So a little bit of golf to play between now and then, but some of these new rules too could really get in the way. You know, there's the new drop rules, there's the new rules about you know, all kinds of things, putters and the putting and the flag stick being left in. So A little bit of some changes in golf. You never know how that's going to affect things. Last week, Tiger on that 17th island green could have taken a drop and putted after the first time he hit in the water. Didn't realize it. Ended up hitting another one into the water, so cost himself a couple strokes there. And we're talking about a guy who's traditionally known the rule book better than anybody out there. So always some changes, but we'll see what happens because it should be fun to watch. Pittsburgh Steelers continuing to make moves on the free agent market, picking up Mark Barron, who most recently played for the Los Angeles Rams in the Super Bowl. And the thing I think is interesting about Barron is that, he started off his career as a safety and then transitioned to linebacker. And I think he's a very mobile linebacker of the nature of Ryan Shazier. And I've been saying over the course of the last number of months that Ryan Shazier is a much bigger loss for the Steelers than people really want to talk about. People want to talk about Bell not being there, Brown not being there, but Shazier not being there has been a big difference for that defense. And you get a mobile guy that can play all three downs like Barron, I think is a really good pickup for the Steelers because it's the type of defense they like to play where that linebacker can drop and get into coverage. So I think a really good pickup for the Steelers to get Mark Barron. This follows up last week getting Steven Nelson at corner from the Chiefs, which will be a really solid player to go opposite Joe Hayden. As I said last week, Artie Burns just really hasn't been getting it done at that other corner. So now to get Steven Nelson in from the Chiefs was a big pickup. And then you picked up a receiver in Dante Moncrief from the Jacksonville Jaguars, which now allows the Steelers to turn to the draft, which will happen in April, and to say, okay, we're in a position now to be able to draft the best available when we see the guy on the board, as opposed to having to say we need to fill this position. So whether we think it's time for this linebacker or not, we got to get a linebacker. Now they're not so much in that position to have to do that. They can now get back to going with the guy that they think's best on the board at a position. They might like to have somebody, but don't necessarily have to have somebody. So I think that's a good position to be in heading into the draft, is to have some of those needs already filled through free agency, and now be able to do what they like to do best in the draft, which is build the team so that they can do that. NBA basketball, speaking of professional sports, looks like LeBron James is going to miss the playoffs for the first time. In fact, miss the finals, for that matter, for the first time in nearly a decade. And the Lakers really a big disappointment this year. I think LeBron and the Lakers really been pointing toward this summer when a number of big-time free agents will hit the market, guys like Kevin Durant. And can they lure someone like him away from the Golden State Warriors to Los Angeles to play with LeBron? A number of other free agents will be on the market. So we're interested to see what happens. But, this year kind of a big downer for the folks in L.A. who thought that, some version of Showtime would be coming back. Not quite yet, but don't be surprised to see the Los Angeles Lakers looking much different next year. In Major League Baseball, now almost underway. We're only a week away. Always an exciting time of year. When it turns springtime, that first pitch gets thrown. We know we're headed toward good weather. We're headed towards summertime. Kids look forward to it because the school's going to be out, and I certainly look forward to it because it is a time of year when no matter what you think about baseball, it signals, hey, summer's almost here, and that makes me happy to get away from the cold weather, away from the the sinus issues and all that type of stuff, and get into having a little bit of fun in the summertime. So I hope that your spring is wonderful. I hope that you can enjoy maybe catching a baseball game or two, and I hope that you have a great week. Thanks for tuning in again. We'll see you next time on the Jaime Bordas Show.